June 28, 1914. A 19-year-old with a pistol fired 2 shots in Sarajevo. Within weeks, 37 million people were dead or dying. Not because of those 2 bullets, but because of everything humanity had built, invented, and perfected in 5,000 years of learning how to destroy itself. Warfare is older than writing. Before humans recorded poetry or philosophy, they recorded how to defeat enemies. The first documented battle dates to around 2700 BC in ancient Sumer, a civilization that also gave us mathematics, astronomy, and the wheel. The same minds that mapped the stars were engineering formations of soldiers designed to break human bodies. That contradiction sits at the heart of every war ever fought. What makes warfare's history genuinely staggering isn't the violence. It's the ingenuity. Ancient Egyptians launched massive stone projectiles at fortress walls with calculated precision. The Romans engineered the ballista, a weapon so accurate it could target individual soldiers from hundreds of meters away. These weren't brutal people swinging clubs. They were engineers, mathematicians, and strategists solving problems that happened to involve killing. The Greeks understood something even more psychological. When they supposedly wheeled a giant wooden horse to Troy's gates, they weren't just using a clever trick. They were exploiting trust, the most dangerous weapon ever discovered. Whether the Trojan horse was literal or legendary almost doesn't matter. The lesson it encodes is timeless. The most devastating attacks often look like gifts. By the Middle Ages, warfare had become almost bureaucratic in its persistence. England and France fought continuously from 1337 to 1453, 116 years. Entire generations were born, lived, and died inside a single war. The longbow transformed English infantry into a force that could devastate armored knights from 200 meters. Technology, once again, rewrote the rules of who could win. Then came a teenage girl from a small French village who had never held a sword. Joan of Arc didn't win because of superior weapons or numbers. She won because she made exhausted soldiers believe again. Military historians still study her campaigns, not for tactics but for what she understood about morale. Belief, it turns out, is a force multiplier that no engineer has ever been able to calculate. World War I arrived promising to be short. Generals on every side predicted it would be over by Christmas 1914. Instead, it lasted 4 years and consumed 37 million lives. The technologies that were supposed to make war decisive, machine guns, poison gas, artillery barrages, instead created stalemate. Soldiers dug into trenches and barely moved for years. The weapons were modern. The strategy was not, and the gap between those 2 things cost a generation its life. Here is the detail that reframes everything. World War I was not the bloodiest conflict in history. Not even close. The Second World War killed an estimated 70 to 85 million people. The Mongol conquests of the 13th century may have killed 40 million, roughly 10% of the entire world's population at the time. We remember World War I as uniquely catastrophic because of how it felt to those who survived it. But history's ledger is far darker than any single war. Every weapon ever invented, every formation ever drilled, every siege engine ever built, they all reflect the same uncomfortable truth. Humans are extraordinarily creative, and we have consistently directed enormous portions of that creativity toward conflict. The story of warfare is ultimately a story about human choice, and the fact that we're still here, still choosing, still capable of building something better, is worth thinking about. Subscribe to factstormhub. We tell stories like this every day. Full article on factstormhub.